Did you know that the Valley of Daffodils could disappear? Is known for having Central Europe's largest concentration of narrow-leaved narcissus. Tens of thousands of tourists come to admire its flowering every year. But the Valley of Daffodils may simply stop blooming.
The Narcissus Valley was historically formed under the influence of traditional farming. That is, people have been mowing and grazing here for centuries. If we stop mowing, these areas will become overgrown with trees and shrubs. Once upon a time, residents had a lot of cattle and even fought among themselves to mow. The number of livestock fell catastrophically. More than 100 species of plants grow on this Ramsar site, which has various international and national nature protection statuses, including 22 listed in the Red Data Book of Ukraine. Those species that grow in the meadows cannot grow in the forest.
Previously, more than 200 hectares of the reserve were mowed by residents, but now, this work falls on the shoulders of the reserve itself.
To mow just 100 hectares, we need over €7,000.
The reserve tried to solve these problems. However, due to a constant lack of funding, only a small part of the Daffodil Valley was mowed regularly, while the rest of the vast territory was slowly overgrown with willows, ash, and thistles. Another problem for the Daffodil Valley is water, which is decreasing due to heat waves.
This place is unique because there has always been water here, which is why the Narcissus Valley exists. For various reasons, the water has disappeared due to severe global warming and inappropriate management, and our task is to bring it back. This is what we are doing now.
For 10 years, biosphere reserve scientists have been building dams to retain water and slow down the drying of the Narcissus Valley. But much more was needed to change the hydrological regime of the dams significantly. Save the Valley of Daffodils. 2 years ago, the project under this name united the efforts of the Carpathian Biosphere Reserve, the non-governmental organization Danube-Carpathian Program, the German mountain sports brand Ortovox, and the European Outdoor Conservation Association. Joint efforts in the framework of the project Save the Valley of Daffodils for 3 years have contributed to mowing, mulching, and grazing annually on 120 hectares, clearing of 25 hectares of bushes, and purchase of powerful brush cutters, electric shepherds, and other equipment for the park, building a shelter for buffaloes that will graze in the valley and slow down the overgrowth of trees and shrubs.
Buffaloes are peculiar architects of meadow vegetation. They graze, gnaw the seeds of tree and shrub species, and carry seeds of more than 200 rare species on their skin and in their digestive tract, which can reproduce and fertilize this area.
To preserve water in the Valley of Daffodils, in addition to the already existing ones, 13 dams of various designs were built, along with several shallow reservoirs, which will retain water and serve as a breeding ground for amphibians.
The sluice regulates the water flow and the level of the water table. When there is little water during hot periods, this sluice will be closed to reduce the stress level for wetland habitats. The water is retained as much as possible and gives off moisture over the area. When there is heavy flooding, it is regulated to protect the public roads.
Another task that was solved within the framework of the project was to make a water overflow across the road to water the most recognizable part of the Daffodil Valley.
This was our first attempt to move water from the central channel to this area, as there is almost no water here. We can already see a continuous carpet of narcissus and see the result of our work.
150 volunteers also joined the rescue of the Daffodil Valley. They cleared tens of hectares of bushes, built fences on the amelioration channels, and prepared materials from branches and soil for new fences to retain water.
Exceptional natural heritage should be preserved and maintained, rather than investing huge sums of money to restore it.
Compared to 2021, the daffodil blooming area has increased by 20%. Does this mean that the valley is saved? We cannot confirm this at this time. There is still much work to be done, which must be ongoing. But this gives the valley hope that it will be the pride of Ukrainians for generations to come.